BOYNEXTDOOR! I love this group so much. Their songs are so cute and they just had their first comeback and they're wearing more knit and crochet stuff, which is great because I mean, I'm already gonna have to do this in 2 parts. May as well throw in a 3rd. Let's begin! This is our first item of the day. It is Taesan's scarf that he wore in the jacket shoot, I believe. So it took me a little bit to figure this out because I've never done a puff stitch granny square before. And when I looked up puff stitch granny square on Pinterest, this did not come up. But I've got it. I'll show you how to make it in just a second. I'm gonna first measure this and figure out how many I have to make. Alright, so let's say this is 4 inches. Yours might be bigger. Yours might be smaller. I don't know. So 4 inches, and then the scarf is relatively long, like it went around his neck, can go around to other people. It's as long as this entire thing. Okay, this is 60 inches. What is 60 divided by 4? Oh my gosh, if this is like, that should be easy. It is 15, and I definitely did that math in my head super quick and did not go and get my phone. So 15, we need 15 this way, and then it's 2 squares widthwise. So we need 30 of these guys. Probably took me half an hour to figure this out. But hopefully it only takes like 15 minutes to make. I don't know, I'll tell myself, and we'll see. Time to make a bajillion of these. I have all my very many colors here. I think I've got them all. I'm using a 3.75mm hook just because it's my favorite hook. This is our little cheat sheet here. We also have this one. We're just gonna be making them to the 3rd row, and then the 4th row we're gonna do while we're connecting all of them together, just so we don't have to sew them because we hate sewing here. I'll show you how to do this in green because green is the best color. You do your slip knot, you chain 4, 2, we slip stitch to the first chain to make an itty bitty circle. Then we puff stitch 4 times in here, and the puff stitch is gonna be yarn over, insert, pull through, yarn over, insert, pull through, yarn over, insert, pull through. That's 3 times. You'll have 7 loops on your hook, and then you pull through all of those. I made them too tight. Don't make them too tight. Pull through all 7, cool. And then to finish it off, you do a chain to hold it all together. And then after that, for each corner, we're gonna do 3 chain before we start our next puff stitch. And we do the next puff stitch, and then 3 chain again. You just repeat until you have 4. Once you get to the last puff stitch, you again will chain 3, and then you will slip stitch it to the top of the first puff stitch. Now for the most part, we're gonna be switching colors here. So we'll switch colors. We'll switch to brown for funsies. So I just do a slip stitch, join in any of these spaces just by doing a little chain here. And then I'm gonna make sure I'm going over this just so that I don't have to weave in ends. Yay! Love it. Then we're doing the same but different. So we'll do a puff stitch. And this time, since this isn't a corner piece, we're going to just chain 1. So we finished off the puff stitch with the chain, but now we're gonna chain 1, and then we're gonna do the puff stitch in this next corner. And then since it is a corner this time, we're gonna be making the corner here. We're gonna chain 1, 2, 3, and do another puff stitch. So there'll be 2 puff stitches in each of these loops. Okay, and then when you're about to finish, again, you're just gonna chain however many you need. That's 1 if you're in the center, and 3 if you are on a corner. And then you just slip stitch it to the first puff stitch. So again, that's 2 puff stitches in every corner. Every corner piece has 3 chains. Every in-between piece just has 1 chain. Now we'll fasten off and do 1 more color. And that's the last row, which I didn't show because it's exactly the same as this brown row, only you have a stitch in the middle. So again, 3 chain on the corner, just 1 chain on the side of each of these, or whatever you find works for you. Yay! 27 more to go. Woo. So I've run into a little issue here. I've finished all of them. Great, good. Happiness, supposedly, but then I realized after going around this one that this is way too big, and I was like, what the freak? Because this was my sample one. Look how much bigger that is. That is not going to work. And then I realized that I started tensioning them all differently. I started making my puffs really loose, as you can see here, which makes them higher, which makes the thing bigger. So these are my ones that are good. These are my ones that need redone. We love it, and we love that that's so much more than this. These ones over here are questionable. It's a fun time. So I probably only ended up redoing like less than 10 of them because I got a lot less picky after the first couple. Now I'm gonna show you how to do the brown border. I was gonna do it like all together so that I don't have to sew it. That's what I did with the pants that I did before, if you watched that. But it's a different kind of thing because this is just like complete single crochet across. There's not gonna be any gaps. So I feel like that method would be more trouble than it's worth. What you wanna do is start your little thingies, slippity stitch, nice. Or not slip stitch, what? Slip knot, duh. And then attach that just wherever this is so you can weave in the ends as you go. As you know, we hate weaving in ends here. We attach that like so. Now in every small space, every space along the edges, we're gonna do 2 single crochet. And then we're gonna single crochet in every puff stitch. And then in the corner, large hole things, we're gonna single crochet twice, chain 1 for it to look more cornery, then single crochet 2 more times. And then we just do that with everything. We're gonna single crochet in the puff stitch, 2 single crochet in the chain 1 space, single crochet in the puff stitch, 2 single crochet in the chain 1 space, single crochet in the puff stitch, 2 single crochet in the corner, 1 chain, 2 more single crochet, and so on and so forth until you get a big pile of this mess. Oh no. Stupid. As you can see, I have my beautiful scarf all laid out here. I did try my best to do all of the ones that I seen in the pictures. I have a bunch of different pictures from all different angles, so I just matched as many as I could. I did accidentally do 2 of a couple. I have 2 of these and 2 of these, and I think every single one on Taesan's one has no 2 the same as far as I could tell. So if you want to make it more blah blah blah, then do that. Also, I'm not going to try to lay it out the same way that his is, just because analyzing the photos to that extent would drive me crazy. I'm just gonna sew it together now. I think I'm just gonna do a whip stitch, and I'm just gonna use the ends that are already on it so I save some time weaving in ends, even though it'd be better to just do 1 or 2 big long ones. I just try my best to space these out so that there's not a bunch of blues together, there's not a bunch of pinks together, like that kind of thing. I think I did pretty good. I will stitch them all together along the length, and then I'll go back through and do the verticals. And so I'm just whip stitching this through each and every stitch here so that when it lays, like it can lay flat. Because technically both sides are supposed to be right sides, even though this side is obviously the wrong side. It's whatever. Ah yeah, gorgeous, work it. Who are best? Literally do not answer that. It's so cute. Next is Riwoo's sweater with the smiley face. As you can see from this very low quality photo of him dancing, Riwoo's sweater comes down to almost his elbow. I've done a swatch. I'm using 6mm hook, no, 6mm needles, just giving me kind of this, which is nice, not too holy, but also not gonna kill my hands or take years. Also, there's ribbing on the sleeves and on the bottom, and I don't know, like it doesn't hold it in at all. So does that mean I have to use like twice as big of a needle? I don't understand how that works. I think the smart thing to do to figure out how many stitches to cast on is to put up my arms like this. If I had someone else to help me, this would be great. Hold this to this elbow. I don't know how to do this because there's no one here beside me. 41. Here, I'm gonna lay down. This on me. Oh wow, that's 28. I was gonna do 41. Okay, so I figured out that I would need it to be, what did I say? I think 30. Oh, 28 inches wide. And from my swatch, I could tell that 10 stitches is 2.75 inches. So I just times, no, what did I do? I don't remember how I got that number. Oh, I divided 28, which is the width that I want, by 2.75, which told me what? I'm so confused, just a second. I don't know how to explain my math, but I did that, and then it was like 10 point something something, and I times that by 10 because it's 10 stitches that are the 2.75 inches, and that gave me 102 stitches. So then I was trying to research whether or not I need to use a different needle size for the ribbing, because I don't want it to bring it in too much. People usually use smaller needles for the ribbing, which makes sense if you're trying to make it cinch in the thing, but Riwoo's isn't cinched in. So I did another swatch of rib knit and I found the 10 stitches is around 2.5 inches, which is just a little less. So then I went back again because I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not cinched in at all, so maybe I should add extra stitches to this and then decrease to 102 stitches after. But then I went back and rewatched this video, and you can see that it is cinched in a little bit. So I'm gonna do the 101 stitches. I'm gonna use the same size needle because we don't want it to be too cinched in, and then I'm just gonna switch to stocking knit after this like normal, and it's probably only gonna be this thick. I think it's honestly like this on both the sleeves and the body. Like this is only 6 rows, so maybe do like 5 rows of this. So now we're ready to start. I just need to cast on 102 stitches, which I love. I love casting on. I'm not fast at it like those ladies yet where they're going it's fine. I'm really excited about this sweater. I feel like I will actually want to wear this. Okay, as per usual with everything that I make, this is too big, which normally, because you know I obviously don't want to redo this was hours worth of work, I would just be like, that's fine. But because this is something that I actually want to wear, like this is gonna be real big. And I like big things, but this is gonna be real big. And I can't even use the excuse of like, oh, it's Ryuu size, cause he's so tiny. It's not horrible, but I would take off about this much, which is like 20 stitches. And yeah, it's gonna take me a long time to redo it, but when you think about it, it may end up saving me time in the long run, doing 20 less stitches every time. I am relatively upset, especially because I thought it was too long, like rows and rows ago, and I was like, it'll be fine. It's not gonna be fine. Or is this okay? I can't tell. Let me just message Riwoo real quick and ask him to measure his shirt for me. Now I'm thinking it's gonna be too small. I ripped it up thinking I will be able to finish it before I go to bed, even though that's like an hour away. And now I have all this pulled out because I'm only half as far as I was before. And I'm scared to move this because I could just like swoop it over. But then tomorrow it's probably gonna be a mess. But it's my bedtime. I was gonna go to bed early tonight. That's out the window now. I just got in my yarn for the other projects. I spent way too much money. Didn't realize these were coming from Denmark, so I also had to pay customs. Oh wow, I don't like buying things online. This is way thinner than I thought it was gonna be, but it's soft. This is for this. Oh, I don't like that. It's perfect. This is for this. This was supposed to be for this, but I couldn't wait. And also it's too small now that I see it, so that's fine. Why was this so expensive? This is like nothing. This was supposed to be for this, but it's too thin, I think. I'll have to test that out. Oh my goodness, I bought so many of these. These were the most expensive. This sweater is gonna cost, like, this was over $40 for one sweater, and I don't like blue, so I don't know why I even decided to make this. And it's not even the right color. It's too dark, I think. This was over $200, and I don't even know if I can use half of it for what it's supposed to be for. Never doing that again. I am taking a break from Ryuu's smiley face sweater. I mean, I've taken a long break from this entire video to do the new jeans masterpieces for a birthday gift for Geraldine. The new yarn came in, so now I'm excited about the other projects. All the sweaters are knit, but I think people are more excited about crochet. So I'm going to do a crochet version of Taesan sweater. I cannot speak. Forgive me. Mine is a little more on the green side, but that makes me happy because green is my favorite color and I do not like blue. So happiness. Also, I think this is more gray in the video because I think in the music video, the way they color graded it, it's just, anyway. As you can see, it's knit. I went with a double crochet with a 5.5mm hook, and it looks very nice, very nice. Dare I say my sweater is gonna look better than Taesan's. No offense, Taesan. Also, the yarn I am using is a 50% mohair, 50% acrylic. It's a weight 4, which I don't believe because it's so how is this 4? Maybe they count the little like halo fuzzy fuzz. But anyway, I thought this would be a lot harder to work with, but it's okay. It feels nice. Not on my face though. Like it feels a little scratchy, but for my hands it feels nice. I made my little swatch. I measured it. I figured out that I'm going to be chaining 80 for the bod. when you stare down at me. Problem is, in this little swatch, I started with 15 and then I ended up with 17 somehow, which means I'm struggling. Even though I said it's easier than I thought, I did something wrong. Hopefully this doesn't end up super wonky. I'm really loving this yarn. I love the way it looks. I don't know if you can see how like amazing it looks, but it looks amazing. Honestly, I think I'm gonna have way too much yarn. I think I have 8 of these, which I love because I actually do really like this color. Despite what I said when I unboxed this, it is more green than blue, and look, it just looks fantabulous. I'll make a bajillion shirts out of this and that'll make all the money that I spent worth it. I'm just so excited because I've never used fancy yarn before. Like I've only ever used acrylic, like cheap stuff. Now I have to like unravel this and I feel like, yeah, it's gonna be really hard to, maybe impossible to undo this. Okay, so there will be no mistakes apparently because the mistakes cannot be undone. Gosh dang you. I don't want, no. I guess I've lost this much yarn. Goodbye. No mistakes. No mistakes. Now I'm scared. Okay, so this ended up far too long. No mistakes indeed. So instead of redoing it, because pulling it out would be kind of difficult, or dare I say impossible, so I just decreased a bunch. Gonna use this piece as the back and hopefully it's not very noticeable. I don't think it'll be very noticeable. So now I'm down to 60 stitches. Because 1, I'm sick of making things that are way too big for me. 2, I don't want to waste this precious expensive yarn. That's not even honest, but it's like $5 per thing. But like, I thought this is going further than I thought. This looks like a beret. Thirdly, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and most importantly, time. It'll take longer. This is 10 stitches less per side, which is 20 per the whole body per row, which means I'm saving a lot of time. That's very important. This looks so nice already. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. Oh, it's itchy. I hope it's not that itchy on my body. This is what one skein, how do you say, what is that? I don't know. This is what one thing of yarn did, so not very much. So I was wrong. I was right and then I was wrong. I think I will be using all of the yarn, but I do think that I'll make it shorter than his. I think I'll make it so it like comes to just the top of my pant. I don't know, we'll see. Getting close to my bedtime, so I'm calling it. We are now on the 3rd ball. I'm gonna call them balls. No, sorry, this is the 4th. We have finished the back and I'm about to finish the front. I just need 2 more rows. I'm gonna shape the neck a little bit. I also, if you can see the bottom of this, because remember how I casted on too many and then I decreased until I got to like 60. So I did the opposite on this side where I casted on 10 less and then went up, just because I'm being very cheap with yarn, and also just it'll probably make it look neater once I sew them together. I don't think I've made a neck hole before with crochet, so I'm assuming it's just the same as knitting, but I always make my neck holes too big. It is kind of wide and I am gonna have to do ribbing, but the ribbing's pretty short, so I think I'm only gonna do about like 8 inches to start with, and then I'll decrease both rows on either side of these. And it's more like 8 inches when it's stretched out a bit, but I marked either sides so it's easier. I finished the first shoulder. It looks a little shallow, but we're relying on stretch here. I think it'll be, yeah, quite stretchy. So, and since I'm smart, before casting off this side, I'm just gonna go ahead and like crochet it to the back piece. Amazing smartness. I have it. Perfection. I fastened off and now I'm gonna join back on over on this corner and do this shoulder. Done. Now it's time to do the ribbing, and I'm looking at my picture here and the ribbing's only about like this tall. It's very short and also is very low quality, so I have no idea what's going on here, but it looks like the ribbing is pretty spaced out, if that makes sense. So I'm thinking I'm gonna use a double crochet still. I'm just gonna go down quite a bit in hook sizes. I had my hook here, 3.75 millimeter instead of my 5.5 that I've been using. I'm probably gonna chain about 6 for the rib stitch, and I don't have to reattach my yarn because of my meticulous planning. After sewing this, it's right here in the neck hole already. Things are just working out for this. I don't want to jinx that. I don't know. I'm thinking this looks too tall and too kind of spacey. I think I'm gonna go down some more sizes. Okay, well, now I lied about not having to connect it back on because I just freaking broke the yarn trying to undo these, and now this is stuck and I'm just gonna leave this, I think, and I will attempt to weave it in or do something with it later. Okay, this is gonna have to be it because I won't be able to undo this one either. I was just gonna stick with this. I chained 4 and then I chained an extra 2 so that I could do the double crochet, and I double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. I work down this chain. After my 4 double crochets, I slip stitch it back into the work like so. Slip stitched a couple more times into the work just to create space for the next row, and then you're just working back and forth along this, working in the back loops only or the front loops only, whichever you choose to do. So I ended up doing 3 double crochets and then a half double crochet to end off each top of the row, just because you can see at the beginning I wasn't doing that and it just looks very like where it's kind of supposed to go in at the top, right? Oh my gosh, Kate, I'm so happy. Like, this is the closest I've gotten to having the sizing right. The sleeves will probably pull this down a little bit. And I don't know why I didn't do this before, but I checked the behind the scenes of the music video, so I got a lot more angles. I have a lot more of a clear idea of how it's supposed to be. Obviously should have done it before. Apparently there's ribbing on the bottom of this too. Probably won't do that. I think this length is the length that I want already. I messed that up. There's also ribbing on the bottom of the sleeves, and the sleeves go pretty puffy. The only issue I have with this so far is this, where I didn't do the half double crochet at the top, so it kind of sits out a bit. I just didn't go back to redo it because it's so hard to pull things. It doesn't work. I'm gonna stitch this up first, and then I'm gonna just crochet the sleeves onto it instead of doing the sleeves separately. I don't want to do any sewing in this. Probably do it about like this. So I'll just mark this one side, and that's how far I'll stitch up it. And I'll connect it from the bottom, stitch it up here, and then I won't have to attach it on again to start the sleeve. This is going smooth. Again, don't want to jinx it. That hurt. Okay. It'll be 7.5-ish inches for the armhole. I double crocheted this far down. It's looking good. I decreased the last 2 rows. The second last row, I decreased every other stitch. And then the last row, I decreased every 3rd stitch. Now I'm going to do the little cuff part, probably about this. So it comes down to like here. This is wide. I don't want it to come over my hand too much because then you can't do anything. My plan is to use the same size hook for this and to do half double crochet ribbing instead of double crochet. I lied, this doesn't look very good. I'm going to do my favorite hook instead. So I'm gonna go down to the 3.75mm. I'm also gonna shorten this a little bit more, and I'm going to do single crochet instead of half double. Starting to feel like this looks nothing like the thing, but I should have made the sleeve bigger, I think, so it looks more like it when I pull. Like, I don't even know, but it is hot. Now I just have to do the exact same thing on the other side, but since that's no fun, I'm just gonna move on to Woonak sweater. I'm very confused about what I bought for this sweater though. First of all, I thought it would be a bit thicker than this. Second of all, why did I buy 2 of this color and only 1 of the darker brown? But we all know I'm bad at counting at this point. This is all we have. So if we run out, we can't run out. I was planning on doing this a crochet version as well, because again, people like crochet. But for one, I did this one in crochet. I should have knitted this one because knitting takes less yarn, and this yarn is expensive. But this yarn is scratchy, so I don't even care anymore. I don't want to actually wear anything with this yarn. I don't like it. This yarn, on the other hand, feels very nice. It's like a cotton blend, so it's a lot smoother. Woonak sweater has a bit of fluff to it. This isn't gonna have any fluff, but I digress. I had done a swatch with a few different stitches to see what I would do, and I would do this one, I think, like just a double crochet with a 5.5mm hook. But since I have no idea how far this yarn will go, and I've already done a crochet one, I think I will knit this one. I tried out even more crochet stitches and different sizes of hook, but I can't. And also for the sake of yarn conservation, I think I will just knit it. I finished it, and good freaking riddance, because this hair is everywhere like never again. Never again. Yarn check. 2.5 balls of this, but I'm not even excited about that because honestly, I never can. It's in my mouth when I'm eating things. It's in my face when I'm trying to sleep. Like, there was a layer of this stuff everywhere. I finished this a few days ago, and like still everywhere. It's It's nice, I guess. Plus, since I was so cheap with the yarn, the arms are kind of short. I just like stretch them and then be like, good. It's so itchy. And this is how much I've done so far for Woonaks. It's the back of it. It's looking great. It's looking very nice and like flowy. It's looking a little short. I should have done a couple extra rows in each of the thingamajiggers. Stripes, c'est la vie. Also, I thought I was running out of yarn this entire time I was making this. I was like freaking out. Turns out there's another one. So it's fine because this would have been very, cutting it pretty close, I think, if I even would have managed to finish the sweater. And it's a good thing I found that because I would have I was gonna look up to make sure that I didn't like order it and not get it. And then I would have been like, what the frick? I did order 2 and I didn't get 2. I only got 1. And then I would have complained to the people and they would have been like, what the freak? We're sorry. And it would have been a whole, but it's fine. Also, this is very high maintenance because I stuck my needle in and accidentally like pulled pieces of this. Then it gets like stuck and I can't. Like this isn't the hole that I made. I didn't make any mistakes here because like when do I ever make mistakes? It's just that I accidentally pulled a strand like way too much and now it's all like tight here and I can't get it untightened, but it's gotten a lot better. So I'm just gonna let it work itself out. I'm finishing the front part of the shirt, shaping it. I cast it off like 8 inches worth of stitches in the middle for the neckline, 2 rows before the end. So I just had 2 more rows to do on either shoulder and I decreased once on the last one before casting off. And then since the yarn's still connected here to the shoulder, I figured before moving back over to the other shoulder, I'm just going to crochet, yes, crochet, hello, the shoulder to shoulder, and then do the same on the other side. Less work later. I finished this part, but I didn't like stitch it together very well because now the part that's supposed to be the front is sitting higher than the part that's supposed to be the back because I somehow ended up, well, I know I somehow, because I didn't even count when I stitched these together. I was just like, I guess this is now the front and this is now the back. Because I'm not redoing it. I already had to redo it because I stitched the wrong sides the first time. Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Toroborigetaa. It looks great. Feels great. This cotton just feels so nice. If only it wasn't so expensive. Like my previous one, I'm going to crochet up the sides so that I can just knit in the round for the sleeves so then I don't have to attach them to the thing later, which is great. Because as we just witnessed, I am not great. Well, I'm too lazy to do a good job with that, so. Oh, and yarn check. I feel like maybe I could complete this sweater with just the 1 each. Okay, so I stitched up the one side to the armhole. I believe this should be big enough for my muscles. This is still here, my yarn. The stripe starts with the cream color. So I'm going to grab my needles wherever the freak they are. My bed is a mess. Oh, it's September. I could change my calendar. Hitting. Love you. Anyway, my plan is to bring up 1 stitch from each stitch. So through each of these loops, I'll pull through 1, which if my math is correct should give me 56 stitches. It is a pretty wide arm. And I didn't record how much I did for this. And I just tried to count it, but then I lost count and now I don't. Okay, if I do that, 1 in each stitch, then it will be this wide. That looks perfect. Look at me. Look at things just working out for once. Okay, let's not jinx that. What I did before when I had to cast on like this, I don't know if this is right or not, but I go in with my crochet hook or with the knitting needle, but it's more easy with the crochet hook. You pull up a loop, you stick that loop on your needle, and then I have that one. I'm so confused. This shouldn't be so difficult. My brain is not working. I'm only making it look so awkward because I'm trying to film this at the same time. It's only half this bad. Okay, I think I am gonna have to change my cord because this is very long and awkward and I can't. Okay, that's a bit better. I finished the first sleeve, but I'm so like freaking confused. Why is it so holy? I have no idea what happened. But this is the armpit. Hello? I'll have to like stitch it. So much for not having to sew anything. Yes? Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, I'm naked. It's perfect. Thank you, yarn gods. But again, this is the armpit. Not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but still, but a little stitchy stitch and it'll be good as, well, new as how it is now. So I don't know. This is turning out the most like the thing that I'm trying to make than anything else that I've made so far, I think, that I can remember. So when making the sleeves, I only decreased on this last cream colored part, and I decreased once every row. If you can see, my decreases look so messy. I don't know how to make them look nicer, or if that's even a thing you can do. I decreased a couple extra times too while casting off. This is tighter than Woonaks, but I thought I may as well have it a little easier to have the sleeves stay up a little bit because it is long. It's not even tight enough to do that, so I don't know. What a good time! This is, wow, I like this. The sleeves are a little bit not wearable, but I mean... Alright, so we're finally back to Riwoo's sweater. I've made my back piece, and now I've done my front just the exact same way up until here, because now I'm going to shape the neck. I'm probably going to leave about, I don't want the neck to be that wide, so we're probably gonna cast off this much in the middle and then go out a bit from there. I'm hoping it doesn't end up too big, but we do have a bit of ribbing to do around the collar as well. So I just marked in the middle with some bobby pins how wide I want the neck to be, and then also kind of just hoped that it's in the center, and now I'm gonna count these on either side and make sure they're even. I adjusted it slightly, and now we're ready to start this side. So I worked across all these stitches. I cast it off in the middle here, swapped these stitches onto different set of needles, and then now I'm going to finish off this shoulder. Okay, so I finished my piece. I decreased, I knit 2 together every other row going up, except for the last, I want to say like 4 rows. I didn't decrease for those ones. Now I'm going to sew these 2 like top shoulder pieces together using red yarn, because if you can see, ignore my greasy fingerprints, it's stitched together with red yarn. I'm just gonna crochet it together because crocheting is easier than sewing for me, or at least it doesn't make me so sad. So with the right sides facing each other, I just did a single crochet across the top of the 2 shoulders. Perfection! Oh my gosh, is it perfect? It is too short. I wanted this to go down a lot, like to almost here. This is whatever. And our sleeve comes to like here. Beautiful. And it's pretty wide. Yeah. First, I think I'm gonna connect and do the ribbing around the neckline. I kept the last loop connected to the yarn still because I'm a genius, and I made it so that I would end my last row on the inside so that I could continue just to do the neckline. So all I have to do is then go into each stitch around and like pull up a loop. That makes sense. So I'm going through the stitch, I'm grabbing, that's so hard. You can do this with a crochet hook too and just like stick it on the needle as you go. That's kind of easier once you get the hang of it. I haven't gotten the hang of it yet. I'll do that for each stitch around. I'm using the same size needle, which is 6mm, because I'm pretty sure I used the same size needle for the ribbing on the bottom, but I can't remember. I really hate that I'm not good at knitting yet. Like, I want to actually wear this one, but like I'm so messy and I don't even know what I'm doing wrong is the thing. Why did that happen? I have no idea. Oh, the hole is very small now. Ew. Beautiful, question mark. The next a bit smaller than Riwoo's would be because he wears the collared shirt underneath. Yarn stretches onto the sleeves. So I'm gonna make the plain sleeve first so that I can figure out how many stitches it is so I can make my grid for the smiley face and know what size and how many stitches it needs to be. So I'm kind of looking at this and it seems like I'm gonna have to do almost the same width as I did for the body because the sleeves are very wide. So I think this is 80. I'm gonna do 70 stitches. And then it's gonna start the same way with the 1x1 rib stitch into like the regular thing. So I finished my first sleeve so I would know how big I need to make the smiley face, or like how the smiley face is gonna look on here. This is 70 by like 73, 74, I don't know. I made my grid pattern, which is a smiley, and now I'm gonna see if it's gonna look okay. I don't know, but I think I did make it too big because according to my grid pattern I'm going in 10 stitches, so 9, 10. then brings us here on either side. So it's gonna be humongous. It's gonna fill up this entire thing, but it looks big in the pictures, so I don't know. I think I'll keep it like that. Yes, I don't know. Oh, also this grid pattern starts from after the rib stitch. So it starts from here, and this is the 70 some stitches. I'm using stitchfiddle.com, and you have to make sure that you're using a grid specifically for knitting because knitting is not square. As you can see, they're all like little rectangles. Otherwise, your pattern's gonna end up like when you actually knit it. Here's where it gets complicated though, because switching colors in knitting is different from switching colors in crochet, where you can just switch and continue on your merry way. For knitting, well, when you first start, it's fine. When you start a new color, you can just tie it and then like leave ends to weave in later. But even when you're just switching, you need to connect them somehow. So usually you just like twist them a couple times together before you start. Say I don't connect them every time and I just knit like normal. This red is gonna be completely separate from the black. Like they're gonna be two separate pieces. And it gets even more annoying than that because when you crochet, you can change color and then stitch over your ends. Whereas this, it's like, I don't even know. For this one, I'm having to go over 4. I could just like do this, twist these together and then start knitting, but then that's gonna leave me a long piece here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it. It's gonna take a lot of work. I won't do this whenever it gets like closer because this is just like a big gap here with the 4 stitches. I think once it gets down to 2, I'll stop doing this, but I'm going to cut this without cutting my bedding. Thank you. And then I'll tie these 2 pieces together so nothing comes loose. Or no, that's already tied together, so we're good. And then I'll join in again. And when you join in another color, like I'm just done knitting this black, so I'll just tie it to the black piece and then start knitting with it. A lot more work than freaking crochet. All the regrets, but it's fine. It'll turn out great. I'm not very good at it. It's called intarsia. Definitely look up YouTube tutorials because this is only like the 2nd time I've been color changing and it's the 1st time I'm using an actual grid for knitting. So wish me luck. I finished my 2nd sleeve. I thought the smiley face was gonna be way too big and it is. I mean, yeah, I haven't put it together yet, so we'll see. But also this kind of sticks out a little bit because I was too lazy to, you know, like have 2 different colors. So I kind of, yeah, this is too tight and that is pulling this, but it's giving like a 3D effect, which is kind of cool, I guess. That's something. And I'm just gonna crochet it with the red yarn, just like how I did this, just like so. Actually, I don't know what arm this is supposed to be on. I'll figure it out. Or no, I have decided I want it to be on my right arm, so it is going on my right arm regardless. Also, this is a spoiler for my next video. It's a yes from me. The smiley is too big. It's bigger than Riwoo's, but like it's fine. We love a large smiley. The fit, like wow. The cutoff, perfect. And honestly, I don't notice any of my mistakes, so I wouldn't necessarily be embarrassed to wear this. Wow. The only thing that makes me really upset is that I do actually want to wear this, which means I will have to weave in ends. Woe is me. I'm so woe.